Most people eat their food quickly, barely chewing before swallowing. It feels harmless. After all, the food still ends up in your stomach, right? Wrong. What happens inside your body when you skip proper chewing is far more serious than you think. From digestive disorders to nutrient deficiencies, poor chewing habits silently wreck your health. Let's break it all down. Your digestion starts in the mouth, not the stomach. Most people believe digestion begins in the stomach, but that idea is misleading. In reality, digestion starts the moment you put food into your mouth. This first stage is both mechanical and chemical, and it plays a much more important role than most people realize. When you chew, your teeth physically break food into smaller pieces. This is not just about making food easier to swallow. It is a critical step in digestion. By breaking food down, you dramatically increase its surface area. This allows digestive enzymes later in the process to act more effectively and efficiently. At the same time, your salivary glands release saliva, which contains an important enzyme called amylase. This enzyme begins the chemical breakdown of carbohydrates right in your mouth. That means digestion of bread, rice, pasta, and other carb-rich foods starts long before the food even reaches your stomach. Your mouth is essentially a pre-digestion station preparing food for the rest of your digestive system. When you don't chew properly, you skip this essential first phase. Instead of being well processed, larger chunks of food are swallowed and sent directly to the stomach. This creates extra strain on your entire digestive system. The stomach must produce more acid and enzymes to compensate, and the intestines also have to work harder to break down the food further down the line. Even with this extra effort, digestion becomes less efficient. Nutrient absorption may decrease, and you may experience discomfort such as bloating or heaviness after meals. You can think of chewing as the first gear in a complex machine. If that first gear is skipped, the entire system still runs, but it becomes less smooth, less efficient, and more stressful for the body. Proper chewing, therefore, is not a small habit. It is the foundation of healthy digestion. Your stomach has to work overtime. When large, poorly chewed food pieces reach the stomach, your digestive system is forced to compensate for a job that should already have been done earlier in the mouth. The stomach responds by increasing the production of hydrochloric acid and digestive enzymes in an attempt to break the food down. However, there is a natural limit to how effectively the stomach can handle large solid chunks on its own. Under normal conditions, food should arrive in the stomach already well processed by chewing and mixed with saliva, forming a semi-liquid consistency. This makes chemical digestion much smoother and more efficient. But when that mechanical breakdown is skipped, the stomach is essentially asked to do double work, both breaking down structure and chemically digesting nutrients at the same time. This extra workload slows the entire digestive process. Food stays in the stomach longer than it should, and digestion becomes less efficient overall. As a result, a chain of common digestive problems can develop. One of the most noticeable is bloating. When food is not properly broken down, it can ferment as it moves through the stomach and intestines, producing excess gas. This leads to a swollen, uncomfortable feeling after meals. Many people also experience heaviness or fatigue after eating, which is often a sign that the digestive system is under strain. Over time, consistently forcing the stomach to work harder than intended may contribute to more serious issues, such as acid reflux. In some cases, prolonged irritation from excess acid production can weaken the stomach's protective lining, increasing the risk of gastritis or even ulcers. Ultimately, while the stomach is a powerful organ, it is not designed to replace the mechanical work of your teeth. Chewing properly is what allows the entire digestive system to function smoothly, efficiently, and without unnecessary stress. Nutrient absorption takes a major hit. Here is something that surprises most people. You can eat the healthiest diet in the world, but if you are not chewing properly, your body is not absorbing much of those nutrients. Absorption happens primarily in the small intestine and depends on food being broken down into tiny enough particles that the intestinal villi can transfer nutrients into the bloodstream. When food is not chewed enough, The particles are simply too large for efficient absorption. That spinach salad packed with iron, that salmon loaded with omega-3 fatty acids, those almonds full of vitamin E, if not properly chewed, a significant portion of those nutrients passes straight through your body as waste. Over months and years, this leads to real nutritional deficiencies even in people who eat carefully. You might feel persistently tired, experience brain fog, notice hair loss, or get sick more frequently, all because your body is not accessing the nutrition it needs despite you. Eating the right foods. You will almost certainly overeat without realizing it. One of the most overlooked consequences of not chewing properly is overeating. Your brain and stomach communicate through hormones, and there is a built-in time delay involved. When you start eating, your stomach begins sending satiety signals, hormones like leptin and cholecystokinin, to tell the brain it is getting full. But this process takes approximately 20 minutes from the moment you start eating. When you eat quickly and swallow without chewing, you can consume a massive amount of food in those 20 minutes before your brain even registers fullness. By the time the signal arrives, you have already overeaten. Studies consistently show that people who eat slowly and chew thoroughly consume significantly fewer calories per meal, yet feel more satisfied. Their hunger hormones regulate more effectively, and they are far less likely to reach for unnecessary snacks between meals. Fast eating and poor chewing are among the most underappreciated contributors to weight gain in modern life. Your gut bacteria get thrown off balance. Your gut microbiome, the vast community of trillions of bacteria living in your intestines, plays a critical role in everything, from immunity to mental health to metabolism. Poor chewing significantly disrupts this delicate ecosystem. When large, poorly digested food particles reach the large intestine, harmful bacteria feast on them, fermenting them and producing excess gas and toxic byproducts. This throws your gut microbiome out of balance, a condition called dysbiosis, which has been linked to irritable bowel syndrome, inflammatory bowel disease, chronic fatigue, skin conditions like eczema, and even anxiety and depression. Your gut produces approximately 90% of your body's serotonin. When gut bacteria are disrupted by consistently poor chewing habits, the consequences ripple far beyond digestive discomfort, affecting your mood, your focus, and your overall quality of life. Choking risk and digestive blockages are very real. This may be the most immediate physical danger of not chewing properly, and yet it is the one people think about least. Swallowing large pieces of food dramatically increases your risk of choking. The esophagus is a narrow tube designed to handle small saliva-coated food particles. When you swallow chunks that have not been adequately broken down, they can get lodged midway, causing a frightening obstruction that may require immediate medical intervention. Beyond the esophagus, poorly chewed food can cause blockages further down the digestive tract. In severe cases, undigested food masses called bezoars can form in the stomach or intestines, sometimes requiring endoscopic or surgical removal. Even in less extreme everyday situations, improperly chewed food slows the natural movement of the digestive tract, leading to persistent constipation, uncomfortable bloating, and a heavy, sluggish feeling that can easily persist for several days at a time. Your teeth and jaw pay a price too. Interestingly, not chewing enough does not just affect internal organs, it has a direct and measurable impact on your teeth, jaw, and oral health. Chewing is in many ways a form of exercise for your jaw muscles and teeth. Done properly, it stimulates the jawbone and keeps it dense and structurally sound over the long term. It also encourages robust saliva production, which is one of your mouth's most powerful natural defenses against bacteria and decay. Saliva neutralizes harmful acids produced by bacteria in the mouth, washes away food particles trapped between teeth, and actively remineralizes tooth enamel to keep it strong. When you rush meals and skip proper chewing, saliva production drops sharply, leaving your teeth far more exposed to cavities and bacterial buildup. Over the long term, insufficient chewing can contribute to changes in jaw structure and alignment, chronic jaw pain, and in some cases temporomandibular joint disorders that cause lasting discomfort and difficulty with daily jaw movement. How many times should you actually chew? Nutritionists and digestive health experts generally recommend chewing each bite of food between 20 and 40 times before swallowing, with the exact number depending on the texture of the food you are eating. Soft foods like yogurt or well-cooked vegetables need fewer chews, while harder or fibrous foods like steak, raw carrots, or nuts should be chewed until they reach a near liquid. Consistency in your mouth. A practical rule to follow: keep chewing until you can no longer identify the original texture of the food in that bite. Setting your fork or spoon down between bites is a simple but remarkably powerful habit that naturally prevents you from loading up the next bite while still working through the previous one. Mindful eating, slowing down and genuinely paying attention to flavor and texture, encourages more thorough chewing without much extra effort. In a world of rushed meals and distracted eating in front of screens, rebuilding this habit takes conscious practice, but the long-term rewards make it entirely worthwhile. The broader health benefits of chewing properly. When you genuinely commit to chewing your food properly, the benefits extend far beyond fixing digestive discomfort. Research shows that thorough chewing leads to better blood sugar regulation because carbohydrates are broken down gradually and absorbed steadily, preventing the sharp spikes. Linked to insulin resistance and type 2 diabetes. Your immune system improves as your gut microbiome stabilizes. Energy levels increase because nutrients are finally being fully absorbed and used by your cells. Many people report that persistent skin issues, chronic headaches, and mood fluctuations gradually improve once they slow down at mealtimes. All downstream effects of better gut function. In ancient wellness traditions like Ayurveda and traditional Chinese medicine, the act of chewing was considered sacred and central to health. Modern science increasingly confirms what those traditions observed centuries ago. What you eat matters enormously, but how you eat matters just as much. So there you have it. Something as simple and automatic as chewing has a profound ripple effect throughout your entire body, from your teeth all the way down to your gut bacteria, your weight, your nutrient levels, and your daily energy. The fix is not complicated, and it costs absolutely nothing. It just requires you to slow down and be a little more intentional every time you sit down to eat. Your body does extraordinary work day in and day out to keep you healthy. The least you can do is give it a real fighting chance by properly chewing your food before you swallow it. If this video gave you something to think about, share it with someone who is always eating in a rush. And if you want more content that breaks down exactly how your body works from the inside out, hit subscribe, because there is a lot more coming your way very soon. See you in the next one.